Do you have any hobbies?
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
Why'd you invite the poltergeists?
I didn't invite the poltergeist. I thought you invited him.
Why would I invite the poltergeist?
Why wouldn't you?
What?
Alright, should I make the call?
Oh yeah? Who are you gonna call?
The film starts out in an old library where the librarian gets scared by a ghost. Cut to a college where Dr. Peter Vickman is testing a couple students, shocking the guy regardless of his answers while complimenting the girl even when she gets the answers wrong. After the guy leaves in a huff, Peter starts hitting on the girl when his associate Ray Stearns bursts into the room. Ray explains that a ghost was spotted at the library and Peter reschedules his private time with the girl as he and Ray head to the library.
Ray and Peter meet up with Egon Spengler at the library and they begin to investigate the sighting. While searching the back rooms, the three spot the ghost of a librarian and Ray tries to catch the ghost, which doesn't go very well, and the three go running from the library.
The trio get back to the university only to learn they've been fired and are being kicked off campus. As they ruminate on their misfortunes, Peter suggests they go into business for themselves. After mortgaging Ray's family home, the three buy an old firehouse and begin setting up shop.
Meanwhile, at an apartment building, a woman, Dana Barrett, is trying to sneak into her apartment so she doesn't have to talk with her neighbor, Louis Tully, but he catches her, inviting her to a party, but she manages to get into her apartment. Louis finds himself locked out of his own apartment. Dana sees a commercial for the Ghostbusters on her TV, then goes into the kitchen to put away her groceries. The eggs on her counter begin popping and frying. When she opens her fridge, it winds up being a portal to some hellish world.
As the Ghostbusters begin getting things in order, Ray drives up with an old ambulance. The secretary, Janine Milnitz, is sitting at her desk. After Peter leaves, Egon pops out from under her desk, having been hooking up a computer, and she tries hitting on him. Dana arrives at the office and she tells the Ghostbusters about her situation. Peter agrees to take her to her apartment to investigate, though he has his own reasons for going.
At Dana's apartment, Peter looks around the place but doesn't find anything too suspicious. Peter decides to solve Dana's case in the hopes of going on a date with her. Outside the apartment, Louis locks himself outside of his apartment again.
Later, the Ghostbusters get their first case and they head out in their car, the Echo 1, to a luxury hotel. At the hotel, they get the details of the 12th floor from an employee and they head up to investigate. After making a mess while trying to catch their first ghost, the now famous Slimer, they manage to corner him in the ballroom. While wrecking the ballroom, Egon warns the others not to cross the streams while shooting their proton packs. With some effort, they manage to capture Slimer.
The Ghostbusters' reputation grows as they continue to catch ghosts around New York, being mentioned and appearing on television, and they get a new guy to join the crew, Winston Zeddemore.
Peter meets with Dana outside a concert hall and he tells her what he found out about Zuul. Turns out Zuul is a demigod from ancient times with a connection to an entity known as Gozer. Peter managed to score a date with Dana.
Ray shows Winston the containment unit which they use to store the ghosts. An EPA investigator, Walter Peck, arrives demanding to search the facility. Peter denies his request, which doesn't sit well with Peck, who threatens to return with a court order to search the premises. Egon is worried about the volume of ghost activity, using a Twinkie as a reference.
No, it's not good.
Tell him about the Twinkie.
What about the Twinkie?
Lewis catches Dana outside her apartment and is disappointed to learn that she has a date on the night of his party and invites her and her date to join.
That's great. I'll tell everybody you're coming. We're going to play Twister. We're going to do some break dancing.
And he locks himself out of his apartment again. While talking on the phone with her mother, a dog-like creature, Zool, stalks Dana in her apartment, and when she hangs up, it attacks her. Meanwhile, at Lewis's party, a second dog creature, Vince Cluthor, appears, crashing the party and chasing Lewis out of the building. Vince chases Lewis through the city and corners him outside a fancy restaurant.
Peter arrives at the apartment building as the police are investigating the chaos that was Lewis's party and goes to Dana's apartment. He notices right away that something is not quite right with Dana, who is now calling herself Zool and alluding to the coming of Gozer. Things get weirder as Peter watches.
Lewis, now possessed by Vince, wandering New York, ranting about being the keymaster of Gozer. The police arrive at the Ghostbusters office with Vince, and Egon begins listening to his rambling. Peter calls in with his story of Dana's possession, and Egon thinks that bringing them together could spell trouble.
As Ray looks over the plans for Dana's apartment building, Winston talks about the Bible's apocalypse prophecy, and he speculates that the influx of ghosts might be connected to it. Later, Peck arrives at the office with orders to search the premises. Peck orders his technician to shut down the containment unit, but Egon and the others warn against it. Peck gets his way, and all hell breaks loose as a result.
Tried to warn him.
With quite the light show spewing from the Ghostbuster building, the guys are arrested and Vince manages to flee in the chaos.
With the now free ghosts roaming New York, chaos reigns. The apartment building begins to deteriorate. In prison, Ray reveals that the building was probably built specifically to summon Gozer into our world. An officer arrives telling the Ghostbusters that the mayor wants to have a word with them.
Vince and Zool finally make contact and begin the ritual to summon Gozer. In his office, the mayor is inundated with calls from concerned citizens, and Peck pleads his case against the Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters plead their case, using fancy words to explain what's going to happen. Peck is out of a job, and the mayor personally requests the Ghostbusters to help in stopping the madness.
With a police escort, the Ghostbusters arrive at the apartment building as it continues to fall apart, and after a small hiccup, begin making their way up the building. Unfortunately, they have to take the stairs. After completing the ritual, Zool and Vince await the coming of Gozer. The Ghostbusters finally arrive at the floor that Dana's apartment is on, make their way up the secret stairway to the altar on the roof.
Zool and Vince assume their dog forms as Gozer emerges from the gateway. Peter sends Ray to deal with Gozer, who questions whether he is a god. When he denies the claim, Gozer attacks the Ghostbusters.
Nice going, Ray.
The Ghostbusters recover and prepare to fight back against Gozer. The building continues to deteriorate as Gozer tells them to choose the Destroyer's form. The Ghostbusters realize that they have to clear their thoughts, but unfortunately Ray has thought of something.
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
And this is why we're reviewing this movie! Ray tries to explain his choice, but now that the Destroyer, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, has been summoned, the Ghostbusters try attacking it as it climbs a building. When that doesn't work, Egon uneasily suggests that they cross the stream against Gozer. Though initially against the plan, they have no other option and fire their proton packs together and manage to send Gozer packing.
As marshmallow begins raining down on the citizens of New York, the Ghostbusters emerge from the fluff, alive and well. Lamenting the apparent loss of Louis and Dana, the guys quickly learn that the two are safe inside the dog statues. After freeing the two, Dana and Peter have a moment, and the group head out of the building to the cheering crowd of New Yorkers. And as the credits begin to roll, Slimer steals the last shot of the film.
All we can say about this movie is, it's a classic.
Well, the ghosts are gone, but they surely left a mess.
Yeah. You know, I learned something today. I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Boo. He's Protomet, I'm Kaiju Master. Happy Halloween, peace out, and we're signing out.